This is...
Wait, we should establish like what we want to talk about. What are the bullet points we need to hit here?
I got it. Okay, so we tell them that the show is called Do You Want to Make a Podcast? It is a fireside chat between two best friends who are on the hunt to create the perfect podcast. They have a lot of ideas, and they can't decide what they want to talk about.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
That's it?
That's the synopsis. Then we'll plug the social media.
Do we want to do like social media?
Yeah. So we'll tell them to follow us at Do You Want to Pod, all spelled out. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can also email us at doyouwanttomakeapodcast@gmail.com.
That's it.
That works for me.
Wait, I think we just did it.
We did it. That was my plan all along.
Oh, okay. Bye. Except hello, because now the show's starting.
Yes, it is. We
go. Indeed.
Is that Heath Ledger Joker? No, that's And Here We Go.
Yeah. You're close.
How do you feel about Joaquin about to play the Joker?
I don't know. I'm very nervous about this film.
Okay.
This is real talk right now.
Yeah.
I'm very nervous about this film. I'm very nervous that this film is going to glorify a type of
domestic terrorism
and toxic masculinity that is thumbs down.
Correct.
I think white boys are gonna love this film.
Yeah,
that's what I think. I'm not 100% sure I'm gonna see it.
Okay,
but I'm not 100% sure that I'm not gonna see it. I think I've said this before. Part of what makes the Joker such a good villain, and so scary
backstory,
is a lack of backstory.
Oh, if you have said that to me before, I forgot it, but I don't disagree.
Yeah. It's like the Joker is literally the quintessential chaotic evil villain.
Yes.
And part of what makes him so chaotic evil is that
there's no rhyme or reason.
Why is he doing this? Just because.
Once you define it, it loses some of the fun and the mystery. Well, it loses all the mystery.
And I don't think he's the type of villain that should become a sympathetic character.
Yeah.
Which is what I fear this film will attempt to do. So that's all I really have to say about that.
Do you think people sympathized with the Joker after the tragic events that led to Heath Ledger passing away? Do you think that there was a certain sympathy from the culture?
And I mean, Heath Ledger's Joker was very good. It's literally an Oscar-winning performance.
Right.
And it's very good. But why is it good? Because you don't know why the fuck he's doing it.
Right. Yeah.
Because he's just doing it because he wants to.
Well, I was just trying to get into whatever anxieties you might have to maybe put at rest the whole sympathy thing, because maybe that's already begun.
Well, the thing is, like, in that movie though, the Joker is still painted as the villain.
Yeah. And now he's more movie, he's your anti-hero protagonist.
Yeah. He is at worst probably going to be an anti-hero.
Right.
Which the concept of the anti-hero has been very problematic in the past. Just look at people like Walter White and people looking up to those things, or whatever. What's Ed Norton's character in Fight Club? Tyler Durden.
Yeah. You can't, but then this is just playing devil's advocate. I'm just for the sake of conversation. I'm not trying to get you riled up by any means. You can also make the argument that, hey, there are no heroes and villains. You just have people.
Yes. Which I think is, yes, but there are, I don't disagree personally.
Yes.
The problem is that there are people that see that as saying that, well, then I can just do whatever I want.
As a permission slip.
Right. It's a permission slip to just be like, well, if there are no heroes and villains, then I can just do whatever I want, and that's fine. There's still a sense of decency.
Right. Now, this is tangential. It's not directly related to what we're talking about. I'm going to give another shout out to Factually, Adam Conover. He has, you'll like this, an episode that brings on a psychologist who studies the effects of video games on folks.
Oh, don't even get me started.
And how video games do not cause people to be violent.
Yes,
and
thank
such.
you.
Now, but in this conversation, he also says violent movies do not cause people to become any more violent than violent video games do.
No.
And so that's where I'm trying to get to with the Joker movie is, you know, the same thing as like The Purge or the horror genre in general could just as easily give folks, you know, if you're going to make the argument of a piece of media enables people.
Right. I
just not say that for everything else.
I just fear. Yes. No, that's a good point. That's fair. I like that. I like this discussion.
Me too.
I don't disagree, but my media can put things on pedestals that people will then misinterpret,
of course,
and choose to adopt. Like, one of my biggest pet peeves in general is anyone taking a piece of media and adopting it as their identity. It's why I have mixed feelings about Harry Potter. It's why I have mixed feelings about like everything.
But we're going to see The Matrix, which is one of a few things I have woven into my identity.
Well,
it's being re-released today. Well, through a span of days. Today's the day we're going to see it in theaters.
Well, there's a difference between liking something and making it
your nationality,
who you are.
Okay, yeah, I do not do that.
Right.
I mean, I am the chosen one, and I can control the Matrix, but I haven't made it.
Do you know Kung Fu?
I know. I'm going to learn jujitsu. Yes. But I mean, on this podcast, I can't teleport, so it's not too far off.
No, it's not too far from the truth. That's true.
sorry.
No.
Continue with your serious point you were trying to make.
Yeah, no, it's fine. But that's just that's always what I'm afraid of, is that like people will choose to like things and relate to things that have an unhealthy message, because they're still, just because something doesn't necessarily just because like movies and media don't necessarily make the world. It's such a tough line to walk.
And that's what I'm getting at. I'm not saying I'm right and you're wrong. We're talking about humans and behavior, which you cannot plan for or control. In my mind, it's not possible.
Well, yeah, and I think part of the problem is that if you go watch these things, you have to remember to go watch them with a critical eye, and remember to say, one, it ain't real, so you shouldn't try and recreate it in your life,
right?
And two, what is this movie trying to say? And is that a good thing to say or a bad thing to say, or is it moot? Very rarely is it moot, unless it's a garbage piece of cinema that just doesn't do anything.
Well, I think that and if you have more there, I'll stop.
No, go.
I think, and I'm just again borrowing and paraphrasing from this episode of Factually that I listened to. Mm-hmm. You know, folks were worried that the invention of the printing press was going to make, you know, things too widely available and like corrupt the psyche of society and whatnot and so on and so forth. That it's a good thing that you as a person, Jim, have these reservations because it means that you are conscious about what's influencing you. And I think that's great. But I think that that's kind of personally where I sort of draw the line, is like, okay, I know that I won't do this. I will not adopt a violent movie as a green light to just go out and do that.
Yes, no. And that's why, like, you know,
I'm not, but I think we need to, that's about as far as any individual person can go. For folks to go be like, and you shouldn't see that movie, I think is crossing a line.
Well, it all depends on if it's the type of media you want to see made, you know? Like, people can talk about this Joker film and be like, this is not the kind of thing that I want to see made, and as a result, I won't see it.
Oh yeah, that's your choice.
Right, yes. But I'm not saying this type of movie shouldn't be made. I'm not saying this type of movie should be censored. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying
you're conflicted.
What's this movie trying to say?
Right.
You know, because if it's, you know, what I am afraid of, that it's a movie that's going to empower toxic people that harass people on the internet and make them see themselves as justified, then because they feel like they are the Joker, then I'm going to be like,
right. Well, I don't think
that's what I'm afraid of.
I don't think this Joker movie, if it does that, it won't do that any more so than a slew of other influences that are out there.
Than Fight Club has already done.
Or just real life people.
Yes.
Who are, you know, through either giving it the thumbs up or omitting criticism, have also given this the green light, you know?
Yes.
So I want to give the benefit of the doubt to Hollywood. I want to give the benefit of the doubt to Mr. Phoenix and hope for the best.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see.
Joaquin, great actor. Great actor, Joaquin Phoenix. Do you remember when he went on Letterman and was like a hobo?
No.
And like he didn't answer any of his questions, and it's one of the worst late night interviews of all time.
Oh, no. Not at all.
You've never seen that?
Was it a bit, or that was just where he was at in life?
Well, I don't remember. I think in retrospect, people think it was a bit.
Yeah.
That Letterman was not party to, though. So like Joaquin came out and did his own bit because that was the bit that he was doing for like, he did it for like a year or something like that.
Wow.
It's crazy.
John C. Reilly has described working with Joaquin Phoenix as working with a raccoon going through garbage. Like that Joaquin is like this, like can have this feral energy that you can't predict, but it's like so raw. And well, I guess in this analogy, he's saying it's a good thing.
Yeah, that tracks.
So I'm curious. I want to see Joaquin do the Joker very much.
Yes.
That is sort of where my expectation stops going into this.
Yes. I don't know if I'll see it. I might see it. I should watch a full trailer. I watched some of the trailers and then I kind of like drew some conclusions and I'm like, So we'll see.
Hey, no one's forcing you.
We'll see. So I guess we'll make a podcast now?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, great.
Okay, so
we're here making a podcast.
For new listeners, we usually don't get that serious right off the bat.
Yeah, we don't usually do a full, like, psychological media analysis.
What we typically do is write down list of ideas because we're on the quest to create the perfect podcast.
What would the name of that podcast that we just did be called?
Violence is no joke.
Okay. I don't have a bet. That works.
If you have better ideas, like later on, and that we can interrupt whatever we're saying, and you can throw that idea out there.
I might do that.
Okay,
I will do that.
What we typically do is write down ideas for the other person to riff off of. I have a list for you, James.
Thanks.
Which you've never seen before. This will be the first time you look at the list.
It's true.
And here we go.
Huh.
This is a podcast called Counting Valeries.
Yes. Okay.
There's so many Valeries in the world.
There are a lot of Valeries.
The first one that comes to mind is the subject of Amy Winehouse's Lovely song.
Yes. She didn't. I don't think she sang it originally. I'm pretty sure it's a cover. But yes.
Mark Ronson wrote the song.
Did he?
I think. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was a Mark Ronson song that Amy Winehouse was... First it was like a pop, upbeat sort of thing, and then comes my favorite version, the Amy Winehouse Unplugged, slower.
Mark Ronson featuring Amy Winehouse.
Yeah, so she was in the original version of the song, but then she sort of stripped it down for the second iteration, which is my preferred version of it. So, okay, already we have two Valeries.
Well, Valerie is a song written by the English indie rock band The Zootons, taken from their second studio album, Tired of Hanging Around, in 2006. Valerie was later covered by Mark Ronson with lead vocals provided by Amy Winehouse.
We have three Valeries.
Who took the song to number 2 in 2007. But it's not as old as I thought. I thought it was an older song than that.
Okay, so right off the bat,
it's only from 2006.
What I thought was one Valerie, we already have 3.
That's already 3. That's a lot of Valeries.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's right. We're counting them. Wait, what?
Counting them because I don't know if you know this. If your valoric with a V intake is too much, that's an imbalance in your life.
Yeah,
it can cause some negative health effects.
The main Valerie I take in is Valerie Bertinelli, who is a cook and actress.
Okay.
I just discovered by watching horrible videos on Facebook that she was actually one of the people on Hot in Cleveland with Betty White. But primarily what I watch her on is she hosts the Kids Baking Championship on the Food Network.
Got it.
With Duff Goldman.
How much, say you watch this, I forget her last name, Bertinelli?
Yes, I believe so.
Miss Bertinelli, how much is, like, you watch her for an hour, how many Valeries, like what's a serving size? Like, you ingest that media for an hour, are you at, like, 500 Valeries? Like, have you already, like, maxed out your daily valoric intake after one episode with her?
Well, I don't think I've maxed it out because we typically watch several episodes at once.
Okay.
In a row. But they are only like 10 episode seasons, but there are 2 seasons a year, so there's about 20 episodes a year.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I guess what I'm just trying to get at is, are you over or under your 1,200 allotted Valeries daily?
Under.
Oh, that's great.
Well, okay. So most days,
yeah,
definitely under.
Oh, that's really good. I'm proud of you.
Because it's like 0, really.
Oh no, Jim! You're not getting any Valeries at all.
Other days, it's probably way over because I watched several episodes of the Kids Baking Championship.
Okay. What do we do now?
I don't know. I just can't believe that Hot in Cleveland was a show. Except really, what is Hot in Cleveland but a 2000s version of the Golden Girls? Except it's not as good as the Golden Girls.
What did Hot in Cleveland... Where did they come up short, would you say?
I don't know. I shouldn't dunk on Hot in Cleveland. I don't think I've ever watched a full episode. And I love Betty White.
Right. I think we all do.
I don't know if I'm just dunking on it because it was on TV Land. And I'm like, any show that's on TV Land can't be that good.
Oh. But some of the classics are on TV Land.
Well, they didn't originally air on TV Land.
So what you're saying is TV Land as a first stop bad. TV Land is a permanent home once you've achieved all the success.
Well, that's what TV Land was for a long time. They didn't have like really any original content.
Yeah.
You know, like them and the AMC channel used to just be like airing old movies and TV shows. Yes. And that was it. Yep. And now just like everybody else, they're like, we have to make the greatest shows ever made.
Yeah.
Or in the case of TV Land, they're like, let's just put Betty White on a TV. She's 90 and everybody loves her. Which is true.
It is a perfect formula.
I mean, I love Betty White.
Perfect formula, Betty White, perfect podcast. Why has it taken me so long to connect these dots? You should just have a Betty White podcast.
There's a lot to go through. There's not
holy shit.
Betty White has been a prominent American figure for like the last 60 years.
I think we've done it. I think today's the day.
You think today's the day?
I'm trying to think of any better ideas than a Betty White podcast. Coming up with 0. Ooh.
Let's see if it exists. Oh, geez.
So instead of Hot in Cleveland, would it be like Pod in Cleveland?
No, we're not going to tie Betty White to Hot in Cleveland.
Okay.
Betty White has so many better things than Hot in Cleveland. Not that Hot in Cleveland, I'm sure, is fine, but like it's no Golden Girls.
There's got to be a podcast that dissects the Golden Girls, which I've never watched religiously, so it could be part, recapping, but also part me seeing it for the first time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wait. Oh, the Golden Girls is such a good show.
Well, I think this is...
So I just searched Betty White on Apple Podcasts just to see if there's maybe something already called that. I'm not seeing one, so that's good. That's good news.
Wait a minute. We can call it... I have a shirt. with the best name for the idea. It's a shirt with Betty White on, and it says, "Who's Your Betty?" We could come up with a podcast called "Who's Your Betty?"
Yes. That's a name.
It's better than Pod in Cleveland.
You're right. You're improving.
Baby steps, my dude.
Oh, there are a lot of Golden Girls podcasts, though. So we can't just be a Golden Girls podcast. But damn it, I love the Golden Girls.
Golden
Girls was a great show. Golden Girls was ahead of its time.
In what way?
In the way that it was a show about 4 old ladies in the early 90s.
Okay.
And also in the way that it became like a gay cultural touchstone.
Got it.
Because it discussed a lot of issues about LGBT stuff before it was in vogue to discuss.
Yeah.
I forget which ones they tackled because I haven't watched in a while.
What if we get Betty White on and we talk about like if she was on the Golden Girls now, what the episodes would be? It could be like the sequels. So like Golden Girls 2, 2 Golden, 2 Girls.
Well, it would be pretty quiet because she's the only living Golden Girl. But
the most Golden Girl?
She is the most Golden
Stay
Girl.
Golden, Betty White?
Stay Gold, Betty White. Oh, I do like that one.
Yeah.
That one.
We say that phrase a lot on this show.
We do. I mean, it's a great phrase. It's a classic poem. Nothing Gold Can Stay. Yes.
The Betty White podcast.
Oh, I forgot that Betty White had a voice in Toy Story 4.
Who'd she voice?
So
I missed that.
A bunch of. Do you remember the beginning where Woody gets left in the?
Spoilers.
Well, it's the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Woody gets left in the closet with like all of Bonnie's old like preschool toys.
Yep. She's one of those.
All the toys in there are plays off of old comedians' names, and they were voiced by those comedians.
Oh, I missed that entirely.
Betty White was Bitey White. Let's see. I don't remember all the names. I remember seeing them like as they went by, but I know Carol Burnett was there. Yeah, Carol Burnett was Cheryl Burnett.
Oh my God, Mel Brooks?
Yeah, Mel Brooks was Melephant Brooks.
Jeez, I need to rewatch this movie.
Carl Reiner and Alan Oppenheimer. But yeah, those were Mel Brooks and Carol Burnett and Betty White and Carl Reiner voiced the
Get out
other
of here.
things in the closet. Which was like, because I heard the voices, I was like, is that Mel Brooks? And so I was like, oh, I gotta check at the end and see if that was Mel Brooks. And I was like, oh, it was. Like they all had like 2 or 3 lines. Like it wasn't like a whole lot.
I must have. That all went over my head.
It was like a blink and you miss it type
thing. Well, and I did.
Yeah.
I did miss it.
But yes, it was good.
Jeez.
Betty White is a national treasure, and I love her very much. And she has a nauseating amount of work. How many credits does she have on IMDb? 116 actress credits.
So there's a lot for us to.
There's a lot for us to go through.
So we can. Okay, so are we going with Nothing Gold Can Stay, the Betty White podcast?
No, I believe it was Stay Gold.
Stay Gold, Betty White.
Then if we talk about her appearances as herself, she has 339 appearances on TV as herself.
Get out of here! That's wonderful. That's like the biggest compliment. 300 and however many folks were like, we love you, just come on and be you.
Yeah. Her first credit is a short in 1945. And she's still working. She had a full-time gig on TV like 5 years ago. And she still like makes appearances every now and again.
All right, stay gold, Betty White.
Betty White.
I think that's...
I mean, that's...
Might be my best idea yet.
A really good one. I love it very much.
And we could like... How do we make this... Our lives become... Our only thing we have to do when we get up in the morning is like... Because we have reached all the fame and success. We just walk down the street. We knock on the door. And Miss White is there with like tea and cookies for us. And we set up the mics. and we talk to her and we just let her go.
Oh.
If that could be my job, I would be the happiest man alive.
I would devote my life to
Yes,
Betty
I would
White.
move instantly.
I love her. She's the best.
How do we got to make this happen, dude? Like, I'm not even joking. I'm not doing a bit. I want that to be my livelihood.
Yes.
Like, just talk to me, Miss White.
Oh,
I'm here to listen.
just whisper sweet nothings in my ear.
I'll put my ear near a microphone so that she's...
Right,
So
yeah.
we can capture the audio.
And then
But for all intents and purposes in my ear. That's great. I don't... Do we want to go on, or do we just call the episode here?
I mean, I don't know what else there is to say, really. Betty White is, like... there's nowhere we can go from here in this one.
No,
This one wasn't very funny. But it was good.
But there was a lot of ground covered today.
A lot of good shit today.
And again, seriously,
Betty White.
Betty White,
Call us.
And so yeah, we love you, Betty White.
Betty White is the best. Betty White, here's where you can contact us. You can't actually call us because, well, you can. Betty White probably has access to the dark web, so she could probably find our phone numbers if she really wanted to. But if she doesn't want to do that, she can just email us at doyouwantomake.apodcast@gmail.com.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, @doyouwanttopod.
Yes, that's it.
That's everywhere.
That's everywhere.
And once you, Miss White, once you contact us, I will immediately give you my personal contact information, Jim's as well, and we can take it from there.
Yes. We will have to verify your identity.
Yes. Just so that we don't think you're a prince that has gone out of their way. Like, what is it? Like the scams?
Yes.
There's been a lot of impoverished princes that have been robbing. How funny would that be? An old person gets us with a scam instead of... Okay, I'm not going to explain the joke.
Yeah, I think we got it. The other place, Betty White, that you could contact us is you could leave a review
on iTunes
for us. Just make sure you also tap the 5 stars, all 5 of them. Well, no, don't tap all. Just tap the 5th one, and that implies that you've typed the other 4.
Yes, sounds good. And with that,
Betty, I'd like to thank you for listening, and I'd like to thank you for being
a friend.
Wonderful. Bye, Mom.
Bye, Betty. Bye, Mom.
I love you.
I don't need your mile-long bridge. Williamsburg is too expensive. Fuck the A-train. Am I insane? No, I'm just never going back. Unless you force me to smoke crack.